man. I'm trying to do this shit with my phone needs to charge. What up, man? So my boy Josh, my employee, he's gonna build your coil now. It's a Clapton. Essentially, what it is it's nichrome 80 wire, 2 different sizes. Basically, it's
26.
No. It's mostly nickel.
Yeah.
With a little bit of chromium or something like that. I don't know. It's relatively safe or whatever. It's what we all use. It's heating wire. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's 2 wires together like this. That he's putting the 2 wires together, and then he's going to spin a smaller wire around it. What this does is it traps the liquid in. You get more flavor, you get more density, you get more of the CBD in you. This is the bottle I'm sending you. It's 1,000 milligram, designed to be vaped. I did as much research as I could on this company. I've met the owners at a couple of shows. It comes from farms in Utah, actually, surprisingly, but they're pretty legit. Actually, the company's in Utah. I suspect their farms are in Colorado because I think I know who makes this product for them. But it's really good stuff. It's what I use in my little CBD setup. This is the mod. It's called a mod. It's essentially your battery. It's your battery power. It takes a single 18650 battery, which you put inside here. This is the battery. This is a real battery. They do sell fake. This is actually an LG battery, like the Life is Good, whatever TV people. This is really made by them. They do sell a lot of fakes on the internet, but this is a real one. It's a high drain, high amp battery. It's meant to, charge up and then send a lot of power very quickly and be able to handle it. If it's misused or abused, it could catch into flames and vent, and hot sparks and gas will fucking shoot out of it. And if it's if it's in like one of those metal tubes you see, the pressure can actually build and you could have a bomb. This is a regulated mod. That's not going to happen. You're pretty safe. Just never carry these batteries loose with change, with keys. This is your positive. It's got the insulator around it. And this is your negative. The negative is actually anywhere else in the battery but the positive. But there's this insulator so that this becomes only the negative. So if the wrapper becomes damaged or torn, most good vape shops can rewrap this for you for like $1 or whatever. And this is an atomizer. And an atomizer is basically just a piece of hardware that you have a coil inside that you can heat up and turn the liquid into a gas or vapor. So there's many different kinds of atomizers. This is called an RDA, a rebuildable dripping atomizer. And basically, it's going to be hard to, it pops off, but when it's new, it's really tight. It helps a lot. Here. Yeah, you got it off. Yeah, I got it, Josh. Thank you. He's still putting this shit together. So he's basically got, which way's up? He's basically got like the 2 thicker wires and then this littler wire. And he's going to spin the drill. It's on a swivel or whatever. Basically. Continuing on, yeah, the battery. So with the dripper, this is the air. You suck from the top, and the air goes in here and comes out those 2 little holes. Same thing on the other side. If you look in the atomizer, you will see that this one comes up and goes that way. That's because it's the positive. It can't touch anywhere else on the atomizer.
No. We're gonna buy another one. I was fucking with you. No, we're gonna buy another one.
This is the negative. It's milled right into the deck. So positive, negative, but just it's not like it's good to know that, so you know positive with the insulator not touching, and the negative which touches everything. The electricity comes out here and in here, and it comes through there. That's the contact. So electricity, you know, and there's a little insulator around it, and you can take this all apart and clean it if you wanted to. You know, it's a flathead. Let me show you that.
It's all junk. This is all wet. I got the stuff dried up with this. What is it? Put it back in the state. I guess probably now I just gave up already because probably sometimes I guess the juice fucked it up.
Oh my god.
A lot of juice I think.
They're always drinking. I'm telling you, we're gonna get a different color.
Oh, let's get this one.
Tough ass Chinese plastic. Bruh. Yeah.
Yo, let's ask him right now. Let's ask him. Yo, what's better, the story drop or the air?
It's personal preference, man. A lot of people like. A lot of people like the.
It's split, dude.
Drop because it has more airflow. A lot of people like the air just because the
And the same
shade.
price or not different prices?
$8 difference.
Which one? Which is higher?
The drop.
Is higher?
Let's just get the air, let's try it out.
You get I'm gonna you be fine too.
Yeah, well, too, but I'm just saying.
You're gonna drop?
I am.
I think I'm
There
gonna
we
buy a jewel, dog. Yeah, and another one.
Another one.
Paperwork, that's silica. Do not eat this. See? Do not eat. Charge cable. Let's micro USB. Any micro USB will work. You can put the battery in and charge it directly.
What are you gonna do?
I think I'm buying for something with my parts.
That's where the electricity comes out of, the 510. It's insulated. Battery cap. There's like a little protective thing right here. Film, you can leave. I'll leave that on for you. That's the negative. It's spring loaded.
The smart print.
Positive first, red dot in there, or red, not dot, freaking red positive cross. So positive first, negative out, right? Screw this in. And again, you can just leave this in here all the time. Little LCD screen right there. Goodbye. Five clicks will turn it on or off. You can leave it on all the time. And it does have temperature control. Oh, if you hold these two, it locks and unlocks. So you have to press this one, this one, and this one at the same time. And it'll lock. It won't fire. You can't change it until you hold both down again, and then it unlocks. This is basically wattage up or down. The W is for wattage. That's power. Goes down to 5 watts. And it goes up to 80, I believe. Yep, 80. With the coil I'm giving you, you're going to vape it anywhere between 22 to like 50 watts max. You know, unless you want like a huge retarded hit, you could do like 65 or 70. But you're probably going to be most comfortable vaping at 35, 45 watts. Probably 35 to 45, more like 35 or 27 or whatever. You'll find your sweet spot. Holding both of those down does nothing. I guess both of these lock and unlock. Okay, so if you press it 3 times, this is all the temperature control. Stainless steel, bypass, factory, exit. So NI is for nickel. That would only apply if you had nickel wire, temperature sensing nickel wire. Stainless steel temperature sensing wire. Bypass means it's going to fire at the voltage of the battery. So if the battery's fully charged, it's going to be 4.2 volts. And as the battery goes lower and lower and lower, it's going to hit weaker and weaker and weaker because you're bypassing and you're just going straight to whatever the battery's at. 1, 2, 3. Factory reset. You're going to want to keep it in power mode, basically. You could just hit the fire button and get the mode you want. Power mode is where you're going to want to keep it. That's your battery life. That's the amount of volts that it's firing at. So when you have an atomizer and you push the button and you're firing it, it's going to tell you a voltage. And that is going to be the resistance of your coil, how much resistance your coil has. Basically, you're just going to use this number and the battery life indicator, obviously, this number to see how much power you want to be hitting it at. So, this would screw right onto here. You can unscrew it every now and then if anything ever builds up, and keep it nice and clean and dry. Make sure there's nothing in there. Or you can just leave it on if you're real careful not to over drip. It just screws on. Spring loaded. You don't want to over tighten it. Just snug it up and it's not going anywhere. And your coil is going to be in here with your cotton, which I'll show you in a minute. This is all American stainless steel, so you can clean it with like isopropyl alcohol or water. I would never use soap because steel is porous. But that's basically it, and then you hit it like that and suck right here. The air goes in here. And I'll show you how to drip in a minute after we get this coil in here. He's done spinning your shit. Yeah. He's not the best builder, but he's also not the worst. But yeah, that's decent. It's chilling. Whatever. And so he's gonna, get a thing. Oh, sorry. Not filming good. He's gonna get a thing so that he can, wrap the coil basically around. If you have local vape shops near you, try to, ask around or check on Google reviews or whatever. And one that's good, that you see a lot of drippers or you see a lot of kids hanging out at, they're probably gonna have a good builder. But I mean, we could always just send you coils and you can install them yourself. Josh, we're doing single or double?
Depends how high. I put double. If he doesn't like it, put one off.
What's the resistance of that coil?
With two of them, 1.8, 0.18.
All right, so the coil install, you just slide them into those two leads, kind of position it and pry the leads up so I can kind of get where he wants it. Puts the other two in from the other side, basically. You don't want them hanging over the edge where they would touch the top cap, the cap that you put on it. This cap. You don't want them like touching the walls, Oh shit, my bad. Don't want it touching the wall because then you would have a short.
So usually I only tighten one side first, cut the leads, then adjust it.
He's just cutting the leads off that are hanging out the other end, basically. Making sure everything's in position. Tightening down the screws on top to trap the wire in the little holes. He uses the thing that he wraps the coil around to stick it in there and shape it. mash it together so it doesn't have spaces and shit. Because if you want it, you want the coils nice and together and tight and even, so that way it heats up evenly. If it starts heating up all crazy, you know, it'll be like micro shorts in it, like little glowing hot. You know, one of the coils out of like 5 together, like one of them will be like super hot orange, and it'll taste a little bit burnt and burn the cotton in that spot. So you want to keep them real even. I'll do another video later of showing you how to clean the coils. But, one's getting hotter than the other. You know, so he gets them hot, lets go of the gas, lets go of the electricity, and squeezes them together. So while they're still hot, so they kind of mold. You just keep doing that. You keep squeezing the hotter one first, or more, until you have them glowing evenly. Those are actually ceramic tweezers, so they're not conductive. So he's able to squeeze them while he's firing. Old school, we only had like regular metal tweezers, so you had to just do it while it was hot without actually firing the fire button. I mean, in this mod, it just wouldn't fire. We used to use mechs, though, where you could cause the fucking battery to blow up.
That's at 35 watts and it's ohming out to 0.2.
0.2, that's perfect. That's chilling. Yeah, one's a little hot. Yeah, leave it just like that. Don't even fire it. Yeah, tighten the screws. Oh, that's the other thing, dude. You're getting a brand new atomizer. What happens with brand new fucking atomizers is sometimes, not always, but the little screws that trap the wire, the current, because they're really clean still, because they're brand new, the current will actually drive the fucking screw out, you know, and you'll lose the connection on the wire. So basically, you would have to just tighten the screw. So if it's ever firing weak, or you see only one coil firing, or you look at the screen at the resistance of the coil, it's that little ohms symbol. If there is, it's supposed to be around a 0.2. If you see it all of a sudden at like a 0.4, hold on, Josh. Yeah, it's 0.2 on the dot, that bottom left figure. If you have all of a sudden doubles 0.4 and it's firing weak, that means one of the coils isn't firing. And probably all you have to do is just take a little Phillips head and just fucking tighten it. The leads that come out of the post, every blue moon, like one of them won't have like a good connection. So if you just kind of push one of the leads that are in one of those holes, or like bend it just a tiny bit so it's touching better or in a different position, it'll like get a better circuit. It'll get like the normal circuit it's supposed to have, basically. And now he's gonna wick it. This is the main thing that, you know, people that don't build have to do anyway. This is Japanese organic cotton. There's all different fucking ways that people do it. People have their preferences and their rituals. He just rips it. I use scissors. I cut a strip. The outer layer of the cotton has like a really thin, like, let me see if I can get this shit to zoom. Hold on. It's white, so it's hard to fucking. iPhones are crap, dude. Yeah, so it has like an outer layer. I sometimes leave it on. I sometimes fucking peel it off, where I use just like the middle. You know, you just carefully just peel the thinnest fucking layer off. Sometimes I'll leave one side. Sometimes I won't. But you know, he leaves them. He leaves them. Just rips them real wide, and he does what they call a Scottish roll. He kind of rolls it up like a joint, nice and tight. Slides it through the coil and lets it expand. Not too hard. You don't want to smash it. It's fucking cotton. You just play with the pressure and nice clean. Yeah, slide it through the fucking coil, dude. You know, keep everything clean. Use your finger like he just did to keep the coil. You know, one side of the coil, you know, if you're gonna pull it that way, if you're gonna pull it that way, like that, you know, you can support right there. So the coil doesn't get, you know, just be mindful not to move the coils around, because you want the coils, you know, not touching the cap, you know, make sure it's inside the circle, not touching the deck, make sure that the fucking leads, you know, I mean, it's pretty strong in there. It doesn't move too easy, but, you know, if you tug on that cotton, you can move it. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't want it to move, obviously. Sometimes you got to help it out a little bit. Find the sweet spot. I like my cotton stuffed in the coil. I like it really tight. Some people like it just snug. Cut these a little bit longer than the outside. When you put your cotton in, you're going to cut them a little bit longer. This is for CBD strictly, Josh, so you can cut them pretty short. You know, CBD is really thick. It doesn't wick the best. You know, if you wanted to, John, you could also fucking, you could buy like regular e-liquid with no nicotine, or even with nicotine if you want, whatever you want. And you can even mix it. Obviously, you'd be diluting the strength. Then you'd be like, it would get thinner, it would wick better, it would be cleaner, it wouldn't gunk as much, and it could have some flavor. I mean, you could cut it with like anything vaporable, basically. But you're getting 1,000 milligrams. It's pretty strong stuff. So, you know, you're just like anybody else. You're just gonna have to fucking learn and try all this shit and just figure out what you like best. But you could essentially get like, you know, a fucking coconut 0 milligram and just add a little bit to it, and you'll just get a little coconut backdrop. You know, a little bit goes a long way in like, you know, displacing the amount of shit that you're consuming. What I'm trying to say is this is a 30 ml bottle. You know, 30 milliliters of juice right here. That whole glass bottle should fit in one of these. We like these because they're not childproof. They're convenient. You don't have a glass dropper. You can just fucking. I'll fucking show you. I gotta change my cotton. It's super gunky right now. You know, but basically, just fucking. Obviously, don't touch plastic coil when it's hot. You can drip from a distance if you want, but you know, or you just fucking paint them from a distance or whatever. Just, you know, the idea is, you want that cotton saturated. You need it saturated. You know, once the cotton's wet, it's not gonna burn unless it gets dry. Then that fucking cotton will burn. I mean, it's fucking cotton, right? So, you know, you get these wet. And you agitate it, like you don't, because regular e-liquid will soak right in right away, but this shit's pretty thick. So when you have new cotton, you drop it right on there, and then you actually like, you know, touch it with the tip, you know, just, you know, tap it, you know, you just want to fucking tap it, so that I'm not doing it so it doesn't, you know, get mushy and collapse, but tapping it will help it soak quicker. And the metal coils, absolutely you want wet. Like, you know, you want it all completely saturated, but you don't want it so much that it's dripping down in these fucking arrows and coming out this hole, you know what I mean? So when the cotton is brand new, you can get away with less. You know, you get it saturated, take 1 or 2 hits, and add just 1 more drop right here and 1 more drop right here. Take 1 hit, add 1 drop. After, you know, 10 or 5 to 10 hits, it'll just wick better. And you can, once it's saturated, you could take like fucking 5, 6 hits off it and then put more liquid, you know? With CBD in here, I wouldn't take more than 5 hits just to be on the safe side. Without adding more liquid right on top, you just drip it right on there. That's basically what it is. Shit, I want to make sure I don't fire this shit. If you fire that, it's gonna burn. Fire button there. Oh, I can't do this with, yeah. So the cap just slides on, you know, and you just fucking hit it. You know, only press the button when you're inhaling. But that's basically it, man. And, you know, once you want to change your cotton, what you would do is, you take tweezers or your fingers or whatever, and you just grab this cotton and pull it out because it's just stuffed in that sidewall right there. Just pull it out, support the coil maybe with your thumbnail, and then just slide the cotton out nice and slow. Sometimes back and forth. Sometimes it'll rip in half and it'll come out both sides, but you just get that cotton out without moving or damaging the coil. If you do move or damage the coil, you can, if you can get a fucking, is this 3 millimeter, Josh?
Yes.
Yeah. It's exactly 3 millimeter diameter. You get a little 3 millimeter diameter precision screwdriver, and you could put it in the coil and push it and move it and shape it where you want, back to this position, or take it to a vape shop or send it here or whatever you got to do. And you know, make sure your screws are tight. When there's no cotton in there, unscrew the atomizer off of the mod and take your top cap, and this also comes out. you can take that out. There's an O-ring in there and shit. And this deck, your barrel and your top cap, you can just rinse it. It's stainless steel, and this is water soluble. So just rinse it real well. Hot water. You can use alcohol if you want. Fucking wipe it all down with a paper towel, you know, or microfiber or whatever the hell you want. And the coils can get wet. Dry it off. Fire the coils. You know, they'll be popping from the water. Never, without cotton, never just fucking sit there and nail it, dude. Like, don't fire it for more than 10 seconds at a time. Because if they get too crazy hot, they're just gonna fucking melt. They'll melt right in this dripper, and you know that sucks. So if there's no cotton in them, you don't want them to just keep fucking firing away. You know, it's a lot of heat's building up. Anyways, if one's going hotter than the other, when that one's orange, not while you're pressing the button, but just while it's still orange, you know, you heat it up. Hold it for like 8 seconds, let go. Hold it for like 3 or 4 seconds, let go. And while it's still orange, just squeeze the hotter one. Squeeze it from the sides like you saw him doing with a pair of tweezers, you know? Just and, you know, on the sides, get a good grip so you don't distort it or mangle it or whatever. And till they're even. Don't do it too much. If one's a little bit hotter than the other, do it. And then just don't do anything else. Like, you squeezed it when it was a little bit hotter, that's it. Because now if you try and check it, it's going to throw it off and one might end up getting hotter. So then, you know, let it cool down and throw your cotton in there, dude, and you're good. It's a lot of information, but you're a smart dude, so I think you'll be good. Just make sure, you know, obviously the wick needs to be saturated, but you don't want to put any more you don't want to oversaturate it because then it's just going to flood. It's going to leak. It's going to not vape good because there's too much liquid in it. So always be saturated. ABS, always be saturated. There you go. That's basically it. So yeah, you can charge the device directly through your micro USB. There's a thing though, right? Like, this is a chip in here, like a little, you know, electric board or whatever. You know, and we put these things through a lot of work. Us that vape nicotine, we really put these things through their paces, man. We fucking, you know, we hit it 700 times a day. I'm not exaggerating. It's probably 700 to 900 times a day. But you're doing CBD, so it's going to be a lot less. Regardless, your chip won't be a stress. But regardless, you can charge through here. Just be mindful of the little box that goes into the wall. You want like a 1/2 amp or a 1 amp. I wouldn't use a 2 amp. A 2 amp would charge it a lot faster, but I feel like it's just more stressful in the chip. 1 amp, look for a 1 amp, and 1 amp's pretty much the standard, but 1 amp would be my preference for you to use. If you got into it and you started vaping other things, like whatever, like any other vapable shit, or use this like crazy, you could always have extra batteries and you could have an external charger. I don't think you're ever gonna need or want any of that crap, but it does exist just in case you do. But yeah, just try to get a 1 amp charger, dude.